There you go.
Yeah.
That should do it.
Okay, it's running. It's always funny to see it back again.
Yeah. Now I need to find my recording button as well. Record on this computer. Here we go.
My native language is not English or Irish, so you got
Yeah,
a
I know.
pretty
Yeah,
strong
but
accent. So I do my best.
as as with a lot of people from the Netherlands, you can speak English better than some of us can here in Ireland. You know,
Oh, be
I
proud
get
of
that quite a lot.
that.
Yeah. So let's start this.
Okay.
Remco Corporal, sax player and lead singer with the Faya Allstars. Thank you very much for taking this call. How are things in the Netherlands at the moment?
It's a second lockdown. Actually, I'm sick I was sick for 7 weeks. I had this balance organ that was inflamed, so I'm feeling delirious, like I have a full delirium all the time. But I'm better now, and I want to get back to work in Amsterdam Center. They said you're not allowed. So I said, what do you mean? Well, it's Corona, and we have to make sure not everybody is getting infected or whatever. I said, listen, I'm better now. All the papers are good, all the blood values are good. I'm proven I'm better. I can get back. I don't get the permission, so I don't get it. I'm okay, but for the rest, yeah, all the clubs are almost all closed. We had hundreds of clubs, and most of them are closed. Um, Colleagues, because I'm also a sound engineer, my colleagues who work there sometimes for 22, 28 years get fired, unemployed. So, yeah, it's not going to be fine. And especially with all these lunatics with this QAnon movement and all these idiots, that doesn't make things easier.
And Amsterdam then itself, because it's such a vibrant city and it has such a lot of. I mean, first of all, it's very cosmopolitan. It has people from all over the world living there, but it also has people from all over the world visiting there. Is the atmosphere different in Amsterdam at the moment?
It's almost completely silent. So for the inhabitants, it's like, whew, finally.
Yes, great. Yeah.
Not because anti-tourists or whatever, but especially with the Chinese, there were just too many. You can't walk anymore normally sometimes, and that's really annoying. But the city gets more back now to the inhabitants, so that's something we all like, to be honest, because it was gets a little too much, getting crazy. On the other hand, yeah, you need these tourists, of course, for the local economy, for people working in the hotels or whatever. But it's pretty silent, yeah. It's pretty silent, and it's strange to see everybody with his mask while it is not really proven they absolutely work. So and people who got asthma got really trouble breathing. I mean, I'm doing it because I respect you the way I am. That's what I mostly say. So I wear it for you, but personally, I don't mind. If you got a good system in your body that's strong enough to deal with viruses, you shouldn't have to be fear or whatever. So yeah, for us it's just again waiting, waiting, waiting.
Let's talk about music. And
Yep.
let's talk about ska music in particular. You had the first ska radio program in the Netherlands. You also ran Jamaican Gold Records and Jamaican Gold Music. Is there a big audience for ska and reggae in the Netherlands?
Well, it's not like in I don't know how it is in Ireland, but it's not like in England, like you have a real ska scene anymore, like you used to have, in the 80s and in the 90s. I mean, it's just basically everywhere, and everybody knows it. So it was quite okay, but it got a nickname. It's poor man's music. So yeah, there's not much money involved, so you have to do it because you like it. With Amsterdam Faya Allstars, it was, yeah, we can't play now, a professional band, but of course sometimes you have to do it for the small money, and first of all it's for the fun. But my musicians and technicians don't work for me for nothing. I'm always expecting to pay something at least, and having given them also a good time. But a scene, there is something coming up again, finally. Some good podcast radio programs, some what else do you have? There's coming a sampler in, I think, probably April next year, a double album with only Dutch ska bands. So people try to build up something again. Hold on, I
Yeah,
just
and there's enough ska bands to put on a double album on a sampler. That's a sign of something, isn't it?
Well, I did it in the past. Maybe my microphone is louder now, by the way. Sorry. No, I did it in the past because I was playing a lot in Germany. I had some bands there as well in the past. And then they had this celebration. I remember, like, I think the album was called Scandal, Volume 1, with only German bands on it, on Pork Pie Records, I remember, in Berlin. And to be honest, on that whole album were two nice songs, and the rest was just rubbish, to be honest, music-wise spoken. I said that, of course, it wasn't smart that I did. But some of the bands, yeah, agreed with me. That was quite bollocks, but it was an opening thing that they have something as well. Then I asked the guy, Matske, from Pork Pie, the sweet skinhead. I asked him, why don't you do something like that with the Dutch bands? He's like, the Dutch, no, and that pisses me off. I said, fuck you, we got more talent than in whole Germany. So I started these albums, Do the Dutch Dance Volume 1, and later on Volume 2, and all these just to help the bands to go abroad, go see in other countries, just to spread the message. We have a good scene as well. That worked fine. But now number 3 is coming. It took a little while, but for me it was just to help the bands to to go and look further than just the Netherlands.
And some of your early experience in the recorded music business, in one of your bands, the early band Mr. Review, you got some let's say, interesting experience by a guy by the name of Mark Johnson from Unicorn Records. Did he show you how not to run a record label?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, let's be honest. The Specials and Madness that was over, and he was, I think, one of the first ones, maybe the first one to come up out of nothing. Actually, he had a monopoly position, to be honest. Um, in the first place, he did a good deal, to be honest. With his dirty festivals in the George Roby in London, where the piss really came off from the rooftop, but the atmosphere was great. And still, I meet bands from that festivals. For example, in Japan, I met the old band leader from Scar Flames, and the last time we saw each other was in London in '88 at such festival. And he said, "You were there? Yeah, I was from Mr. Review. Oh, Mr. Review! Oh, no, you know." Like we saw each other yesterday. I mean, he built something up, but the only thing was, as far as I remember, he was losing the money on something. I think to a drug addiction. I remember No Sports came there, broke in, took all the albums which were theirs. We got some serious, well, a little violent argument with him. More bands followed up. And then he took off to Istanbul. He had Unicorn Istanbul, and there I tracked him again. I passed it to the bands, and again they hunted on him. And then he went to Thailand, and in Thailand he even started to do it again. But he got HIV. He got a drug addict to heroin, and the last money that was there, I heard latest news was Matske told me, that went to his two little nephews in England somewhere. You know, fuck it. But at least that's, I mean, on its own, the label he run quite well. But yeah, it's. I mean, if you got your own bar, you shouldn't drink yourself most of all your customers. That's rubbish.
No, it's never a good idea.
Doesn't work.
Let's talk about the members of the band and Faya Allstars. It's like the United Nations, really, isn't it? They're coming from all over the world playing in that band. They were based in Amsterdam, but from all over the world, the musicians come.
Well, Amsterdam is actually the most international city if it comes to most nationalities and cultures together, more than New York or London. Most of them are really good musicians or great cooks. So you have a lot of density of good musicians there, and actually you can find them anywhere. So it's quite easy to start a band. It's also easy to fire someone and to get on and next. It's quite easy. But yeah, now with Corona, they all don't seem to have work. But if I look at my band members now, for example, my piano player is from Armenia. He is graduated cum laude at the Royal Academy in Den Haag. If I look at my tenor saxophone player, his father was from China. I got some kind of an Indonesian background. If I look at my drummer, he's from Aruba, the the West Indies island, from one of them from the Netherlands. If I look at my guitar player, he's from Montevideo, Uruguay. I mean, yeah, the chance that you have a non-Dutch very good musician to find them in Amsterdam is quite big, to be honest. And it's nice, if they bring their culture, the background into the music, it brings you something new. Sometimes things that I never could find or come up with myself. So it's good to have this extra luggage from them.
And even though what you're playing at its core is ska, and it has that beat to it. In 2016, you won an award for your album, and it was in the World Beat category. Were you surprised that your music was categorized as World Beat? Or
Well,
had you even heard of that as a category before the award?
actually, I didn't hear of that, but I saw the category, and then I saw who was also into this on the ska and the reggae, and there were way too many big bands. And then I saw World Beat. World Beat didn't have so many bands, so you know what? Just a lucky guess. I said we are a World Beat band. I haven't got a clue what it is, but let's do it, and we won. It was just a clever move. And then when we won, I was surprised, and I was looking on the internet. What is it actually? It came very close, to be honest. It's not strictly ska I want to play, and it's not strictly ska we do play. So yeah, it's a mixture of world music, jazz, ska, reggae. It was
And
yeah. Mhm.
as well as having members from around the world, Faya Allstars have been traveling around the world as well. Was playing in Asia very different to playing in Europe and in the Americas? Was that an eye opener for you?
Well, for Japan, I mean, first one was aiming for Japan. Um, let's Japan was strange. I mean, we had an incredible good manager there, Shogo, and he showed us around and teached us so many things about Japanese culture and things like that. And at the very last moment, South Korea came with 7 shows just just 2 days before you would left. It was like, holy shit, are you in? I said, yeah, sure, I'm in. So I just booked over the tickets, changed the dates, or whatever. And then the rest of the band, they say, listen, we stay 3 weeks longer. So what do you mean? We're going to Korea. To what? To Korea. Why? Well, I don't know it, so I want to see it. I just want to. Only thing I know is they got a fantastic kitchen, and that's all I know. So we, we just went there, and we had these guys from Kingston Rudy Ska, the band, and they were fantastic. They took look after us like their own children. It was fantastic. The audience was very grateful, and you could notice, especially the last show we did was like an open stage, like a jam session, um, and you could see that they were quite shy or didn't feel equal, especially the ladies. And so the whole evening it was just teasing the ladies. And after 8 or 9 songs, then it finally all went crazy on the dance floor. They lose they're losing this little shameful thing, and then they come on the dance floor, and that was great. And in the end, I was the only singer, and all of the musicians back to me were Korean guys, and I was like, oh fuck, I hope everything runs fine. But they did fine. They did fantastic. They got great musicians there, and we had another show that in the end we played with, I don't know, 33 musicians on stage. We just invite people. They were not used to that, that you treat them equally, and that we can do it all together. And then they come up with a party after the Saturday show. Man, that was fantastic. They know how to treat people, and they organize very fast. And also in Korea, they had an incredible good kitchen, which was very addictive. The people were fantastic. Everything was fantastic, to be honest.
And
Eh,
was there some talk of the possibility of a gig in Tibet at one stage as well?
Yeah, yeah. The sugar from Tokyo, the manager, he said, "Do you want to play in Tibet?" I said, "Yes, sure." But he said, "Well, listen, I was never there, so I would like to play there. Why?" Well, it seems to be that a few monks are fan of your band. I said, "What do you mean? You'll be playing there in a monastery or something?" Yeah. I said, "Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Why not?" I mean, with all due respect, I mean, I've been maybe 500 times to Germany, and I've never been in Nepal or in Tibet or in Ireland. So where do you want to go? You know, I like to see something new. That's why I was so excited to come to Ireland, because I've never been there. I heard many stories that it is a real musical island. Yeah, Corona came up and demolished the whole plans.
Yeah, hopefully it'll happen in the future. Finger crossed it'll
I
happen in the
hope so.
future.
I hope so.
Where's the strangest place you've played so far? Even, maybe somewhere strange within a country, somewhere where you went in, you played the gig and you went, I can't believe that we had to play in that place.
You mean in a negative way?
In any way you want.
Right. Oh, wow. Well, yeah, there are so many. There are many. But let me see. Let me see. Well, last time it was 2 years ago. I was with Hugo Lobo and Mariano Goldenstein. I was in Argentina, and we had to play the second or the third show in a place called Cordoba, the Light City. And usually gigs start there around 3 or 4 o'clock in the night for the headliners. So, and still you have to get out of your hotel at 10. So that was quite killing, to be honest. But that was so funny. But there was a stage in some kind of an open roof club. And there were also people from all kinds of areas in the world. People also very kind and enthusiastic. But the roof was open, and people were living there next door. And that's so funny that people in the most South American countries and in the Caribbean area are so used to a lot of noise in the night. I would be annoyed if that would happen to me. And so when we played, I could see the full moon shining on me. You could see the stars, and people were happy. That was kind of strange and crazy. And another one actually was on the Cape Verdean Islands. You know them?
No.
These are islands, ex-Portuguese islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean between, say, Senegal and Brazil. Um, you have to realize that 75% of the population lives outside the islands, and most of them living in Rotterdam. And I have a few musicians I know in that scene. So they were asking me to come along. So you fly to the first island, which is just an airport, to be honest. That's called Sal. Then with a little airplane, you go to Sinaclau, then Saint Vincent, where what's her name again? Cesaria Evora was born on that island, which was beautiful already. Then you're taking a big boat to the last island, Saint Vincent. And first you see only it's like a big rock. And you see they take over all kinds of camels from the boat and food and whatever. That's already funny to see. And then you go in these little vans, these little buses with all the gear on top, and they drive like madmen. They're driving on the top of these hills, and sometimes in between the clouds you could see kilometers or miles deep down how deep it was, and they were really driving like madmen. Anyway, after that you go down, you go down, you go down, you go down. And then a completely different world started, with big flowers, people eating, how you say, these sugar cans and looking at you. And then the very last moment, oh, I should step aside. Like, what's that? And that was crazy. The things we ate, that you shouldn't sleep alone. It was paradise on earth. I've never seen that before. I mean, it was 1995 or some 93, but it was great. It was absolutely awesome.
Sounds like a wonderful experience. And
Yeah.
when it comes to what you're missing at the moment with the restrictions on gigs, what's the thing you're missing most about not being out playing to crowds and not having that communal music experience at the moment?
Well, first of all, making music without, how you say that? Without delay. When you do it online, you
Latency.
can.
Yeah.
What's the name for it? I forget it.
Latency is
Latency.
one of
Yeah,
the
that was the
things.
word I'm
Yeah.
looking for. Sorry. Making music without latency. That's already something. But it's, of course, the tricks you do with the audience, especially the way Faya Allstars is making music. Not any evening is the same. So you start somewhere, but you don't know exactly how you're going to end. So what I do is, I'm a live director at that moment on stage. So if I do this, it's from the top, from the beginning. If I just step with my feet, it's like we're getting into the break. If I say now, and they shouldn't think. They just do. You just do, and you just don't look at your bass player. Are you doing the same? Because you're too late. So they have to act very fast. Also with the audience, you can act very fast. Sometimes we're doing songs like just 5 minutes up before. Do you know that song? What song? And then they sing it. I've heard it. Yeah. You want to do it tonight? Yeah. Let's do. We play every evening. You play a song we never played before. It's just like an idea. But all these musicians, they usually play every evening, like sometimes even 5 times a day with all different kind of bands. They're used to that, so you can do anything. It's like a jukebox, you know. You can play anything you want at the spot, and that's fantastic. I'm
Are you
blessed.
a bit of a James Brown in the way you're calling the band there? You know, calling the stops and the starts, and without looking at the band,
In
do you
that way,
fine anybody if they don't come in on time?
I've done that once. Yeah, we had to play the support deck for Scatterlight, and my other saxophone player was too late. He was just new in the band. But when I say now, it's now. And I had him on the phone. Where are you? We're going to come on stage. Yeah, when? Now. Yeah, but I need my. First, I'm going to eat. Yeah, and then come. It's now. Yeah, click. Okay, let's go. We started to play. I've never saw somebody running to the stage that fast, build up his saxophone, and then everybody was asshole. He never did that again before. So when it's now, it's now.
Yeah,
Simple as
well,
that.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
otherwise, these musicians are adult men, but also a little bit crazy. So we got simply deals with each other. They always want to go out in the night. I said, okay, you got a telephone? Yeah, you got the address of the hotel? Okay, we leave at 11. Yeah, yeah. See you then. And if they're not there, we leave. As simple as that is.
and have there been times when some of the musicians haven't been there when you leave in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm still doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and go.
go.
It's their
That's it.
problem. It's their problem. No, but otherwise they never learn. But for the rest, I mean, I've got to be honest. They really, really, really good musicians. They have this discipline in the last years, actually, very well. Especially this year because we don't play. But no, but they're good. They know, and for now, actually, the last 10 shows were so relaxed, were so easy. So there's no intensity or competition or nothing. No, it's really cool down, relaxed.
Well, we hope that all of you, all of Faya Allstars, are on time for the flight when you do eventually get the chance to come here to Ireland
Very
and to
good.
play. And we all have our fingers crossed that you do. We hope you make the flight, and hopefully we'll see you then, Remco.
You know what I also hope? Um, when I rent a little van, Volkswagen van or whatever, from the airport to you guys, I want to stop at Lake Guinness. You know why? I guess.
Yeah, you going for a swim?
No, there's most of this is recorded for the series Vikings.
Ah, okay.
That's
Right.
why.
Right, you're a fan of Vikings. Well,
Oh, yeah.
interestingly, Owen Kavanagh, who organises the Irish International Ska and Reggae-Festival, his father, Gino, has a very long white beard and long white hair. He's been in Vikings. He's one of the
You're
extras
fucking
in
kidding
Vikings.
me! Oh
No,
wow!
he's in. Cav will show you. So he'll introduce you to his father, and they'll show you
Oh,
the episodes of
I can
Vikings where
tell.
you can see Cav's father. Yeah, he's a star.
Oh man, I love that. I love.
Something to look forward to.
Oh wow.
Remco, thank you very much for taking the call.
Yolan, thanks, Mark. Have a good one. And hopefully we see each
Nice
other
one.
soon. Yeah.
See you soon. Take it
Okay.
easy. Look after yourself.
You.
Thanks.
Bye bye. Bye.
Remco, that was brilliant. Thank you very much.